Hello everyone, it is Sue here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, Volume 8, Prompt 11. So we're more than halfway through. And Prompt 11 is favorite color. So you all know my favorite color is pink. And as much as I want to use all of these fabrics, I'm going to put them to the side for now, hoping, excuse me, that they, like one of the future prompts might be stripes or shapes, right? And I could use the dots for circles. So I'm going to put these to the side. Let me show you what I did pick out for today. So down here, this pink piece of rickrack. I think it's perfect because, well, it's like the perfect spot where I can just kind of put it in there without bothering anything else. And it makes it so, you know, it looks like this plant right here is kind of coming up out of it. I like that. I like that look a lot. So that's a yes, absolutely. This right here, I love. Well, it's a pink flower. My favorite thing in the whole wide world is a pink flower. So see this spot right here? Like I have been having problems putting things here. And the reason is because this is round. So I'm going to have to eventually just have something. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't want to cover this doily, right? So that's my issue. So I do really like this. I would go over this piece just a little bit, and I would go over the top of that just a little bit, right? Because I want to save space. I really like it opened. I mean, it's not that big of a piece, but I could make it smaller and do that. So that would give me more room over here. But you know what? I have to tell you, even though it's bigger, I think I want that right there. Right like that. Up just a little bit. Right there. Okay, I'm going to pin that down, and I'm going to commit to that. I am. I think that pink flower is stunning. If I was brave enough, I would do some thread painting on there. I did find, let me show you something that I found that I'm thinking of trying thread painting for the first time ever in my life. And see, because I don't have a lot of patience, which you guys know, but look at this piece of fabric. Wouldn't that be awesome to do some thread painting? So, because it's big, right? And it's just like shades of pink. So I might give that a try. I have it set aside to give it a try at some point. So, all right. And then the other piece that I thought to add for my favorite color of pink is right here. So it's kind of like a little cluster, okay? So it sits on top of this piece of trim. It butts up right to this piece of fabric, right? So it's tucked in there. Right now I have the, the end of it, the edge of it folded over, and it's pinned. And then I have this pink crocheted flower, and then this little rosette flower. And I have another rosette. This is like an off-white. This one up here is white. So I really like them, and I think that they're looking good on this particular wall hanging. So I think that's all pinned as well. So I'm going to commit. So you know what? We're going to actually sew. So let's sew this one piece down. And what I think I'm going to do is, let me see what threads I have available. What thread color do I want? I could go with off-white, which would be good for this. But then when I get to this, that background is pretty white. So, you know what, I'm just going to go with this white. Now, this particular white is a pearl size 8, but it is a cheap pearl thread. I don't know where I got it from. I got a set of them. I want to say, I don't know, maybe from a place like Michael's. I'm not really sure. And so it's inexpensive is my point. So, you know, you don't have to get all of the best of everything out there just to stitch down some fabric. And, you know, I use this color, white, you know, a good amount. So, excuse me. Okay. So let me take a sip of water here. I am on medication for this throat of mine, so bear with me. It's a medical thing. And I'm really hoping that the medication works. So I'm going to give it a try. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch down this flower, right? The rosette, which is going to stitch down the pink flower as well as the fabric at the same time that I am stitching this down. So, and just remember, if you want to see more closely, in fact, I'll zoom in just a little bit. If you want to see even more closely what I'm doing on your device, just go ahead and, you know, do that and it will zoom in. So just a fun little trick that I use all the time when I'm watching somebody stitch. Oh my gosh, I zoom in. And what's nice is that not only can you zoom in, but once you're zoomed in, you can move it around. Yeah. So if you need to, you know, if they move to another spot and you can't see that because you're zoomed in, all you need to do is move the screen with your finger. All right. So I'm going to continue on here. And I'm going to put, I don't know, 3 or 4 stitches in this. And I'll take out, whoops, that pin. So let's do that. Let's take out the pin. And let's see. All right, that's good. So now this pink flower, gosh, I'm kind of feeling like, should I do pink thread? Let's see what shades of pink I have. Well, this is more of like a purple pink. You know what? I might have my pink with another project because I am not seeing it. So that kind of answers that. So my pink is somewhere. Oh, here. Okay. So I do have that. This is too purple. I'm going to put that back. Yeah, and here's my little pouch. And this is just a quick little pouch I made. And I have 4 threads in there, linen threads. And this is my little needle book, which I use all the time. This is what I take with me into my living room. And I am making a bigger needle book. If you want to see those videos, I post those on Mondays as my crafty chit chat and slow stitching. You know what I'm going to do? I kind of do feel like I need pink, but I'm not going to knot this off because I'm going to use this to sew that piece of fabric down. So let me go ahead, grab a needle. And just, you know, and sometimes, you know, if you're a stitcher that, you know, sometimes you want the threads to contrast with what you're sewing down, because you want your threads to, you know, be a bigger part of the design, so to speak. And sometimes you don't really want to see the thread, right? And that would be the case right now. I'm feeling like I don't need white on this pink flower. Now this pink isn't going to match perfectly. It's lighter, but at least it will be pink and not white. So let's see. So yeah, I mean, honestly, you can't see it. So, okay. And you know, I am not one of those, like, I am not a sewist. I just like to get out some fabric, get out some thread, and stitch. I'm just, you know, I like easy, simple, fast. I like things fast. Oops. Yeah. Which is funny because, I mean, this project is going to be basically a half of a year, which is not fast, but the prompts, I have to tell you, I am loving the prompts. I have to turn this. I'm loving the prompts. I am finding them easy, which is nice. Nice. Sometimes I have to think a little bit, but most times I'm like, oh yeah. Like as soon as I hear the prompt, I'm like, I know what I'm using. I know. And then I look through my stuff, and then sometimes I change my mind. Yep. All right, and I'm just stitching around the edge of this just to tack it down. Because over time, what I've noticed, so like I have some wall hangings from, I'm going to say 3 years ago, and they're hanging in my living room. I mean, I see them every day. And some of the pieces that I sewed or I didn't sew down properly, meaning like the edges like I'm doing now. So some of those have come up, or like they start curling depending on what it is. And yeah, so I've had to stitch some of it back down. In fact, that's one of my it's one of the things I have on my list that I want to do. I took care of one of them, and it helped so much, so much. And I have 2 or 3 more in my living room that I need to do the same thing. And all I did was like took them off the wall, I brought them in here to my craft room, and I just kind of, I don't want to say repaired, I just tacked down what was sticking up. So, yep. So I'm just checking to see where I started. So I'm basically back at where I started. So I'm going to end this, and we'll knot it in the back. And then we will finish with the white. You know, I don't worry much about how the back of my pieces look because, well, it's not about the back, it's about the front. But when I see my back not being like a total disaster, I'm like so proud of myself. Okay, so now we have to stitch down this fabric. So, how do I want to do this? Should I just do a straight stitch around the edge? I probably should have moved this pink flower over a little bit, but I didn't, and it's there, and it's fine. Is this? Okay, that's already stitched down. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay. And where did I leave off? Kind of in the middle here. So I can come up here and let's see. I don't really have a plan at this moment. Again, I could straight stitch. I could do a blanket stitch, which I still can't start properly. I could do, I think what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do, yeah, because I think that this will look pretty and just hold the edges down nicely. And this, I think it's called the overcast stitch. So you stitchers that are watching this, is this called the overcast stitch? Let me know. And it is, I have to say, probably my favorite stitch. I don't know why that is. I guess I like the look of it, and it feels, I don't know. It feels a little fancy without it being difficult, if that makes sense. So we'll just stitch this down. I think I'll just leave the end over here without stitching. If I need to iron that flat so it's not, well, I'll show you when I get over there. Like right now it's a little puffy. Let me start going this way. All right, I'm going to turn this. Sorry to keep turning things. I am definitely one of those people that I stitch better when it's a certain way. I mean, I know some people can stitch any old way, but that would not be me. So, yeah, I mean, I only started stitching 3 years ago. Well, I started with the Roxy's, their very first project. That's when I started stitching. So that was in 2021. Well, actually it started, wait, 21, yeah, 20, 21, 22. No, 22. Was it 22? It's because it's this is the 4th year. So 2021, 22, 23, 24. No, so it started in 2022. And it actually started the December before. So December of 21, because what they did, and if I should actually go back to and watch those videos. I think I even saved them. And so that I could go back and watch them. And because they taught us, oh my gosh, like all the stitches. And it was great. Like I didn't know, like all I could do was a straight stitch. So, in fact, I bet you if I watch their video, it will make sense to me on how to start a blanket stitch. Maybe that's what I need to do. In fact, where is that journal? Oh my gosh, I loved that project. I loved it. And then the second volume, Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 2, was to make either a Christmas or winter journal. And I made a Christmas, all out of fabric. And I loved it. In fact, this year I am stitching my December journal again this year. It's going to be all fabric. In fact, I just posted a video about it 2 days ago. So if you want to check that out, the fabrics, I'm really happy with the fabrics. I'm calling it a homespun journal just because most of the fabrics that I have selected look like homespun. I don't think all of them really are, but they have that look. So, yep. Yep. And so that's going to be fun. So this is not straight. It is just not straight, right? And that's okay. Because you see this like line, this edging on this trim right here? And then look at the way this sits. Can I move that up a little bit? Maybe I can. Maybe I can. Well, I don't want to. No, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to go with it. And if you are one of those people that are a perfect stitcher and everything needs to be perfect, you might not want to watch this. Yep. All right, so we're almost done. Let me turn my iron on, which is sitting right next to me. I have a little steam fast iron. You know, it's meant for traveling. And I have it just plugged in right next to me all the time. And so, like, and if I don't have one of these mats, this here, it's literally taped onto my desk, can also take the heat. It's actually meant for an oven, actually. Wait, I got pins getting all messed up here. Okay. So I can iron on that like beigeish brown substrate because it's made to take heat. So yeah, yep. All right, so what I'm gonna do is let's go over here and I'm going to knot this off. All right. Oh, and definitely be sure to check out Rachel and Sarah's YouTube channels. Their links are in my description box, as well as the link to the Facebook group. So I'm just going to iron that because it was just kind of sticking up a little bit over here on the edge. And yep, so that's it. So that's down. So that's my pink. That's my pink. So I'm not going to stitch the other things in this video, but we did get that piece down. So the next thing I'll stitch is that. And then the last thing for this prompt will be this. Yeah. So that's it for today. So thank you so much for being here. And let me know if you have any questions. Check out Rachel and Sarah. Check out the Facebook group. And I hope that you have a wonderfully blessed rest of your week. All right. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.